But it was an up and down weekend on Merseyside, I'd say. Obviously, me and Callum being at the Hill Dickey, watching the Blues play Fulham off the park, and then on the other side, Liverpool doing the opposite against City. Before we get into the footy, though, I know obviously a lot of people are talking about this at the minute. Kind of a big talking point across the media is referees and VAR, because obviously played a big part in both the Everton game and the Liverpool game. Before we go anywhere, and obviously I want to hear your points of view on all of it. For me, I met up with Tosh at half time at the match, and I said to him, I very rarely get angry at the game. Like, I'm not one of these fellas who like shouts, because I just think like the ref can't hear you. Like, what are you shouting for? But on Saturday, I was fuming. Like, I don't know, you're quite a laid back fella, Carl. I don't know how annoyed you get. I was genuinely so annoyed. It wasn't even about like the goals, because the goals seemed to be like correct, if you know what I mean. I just felt like some of the other decisions were just nonsense. And don't get me wrong, it helps with Everton, I feel like, because that's what gets the Everton fans on board, as you say, Cal. And I feel like it worked massively. It just got the ground going. But yeah, I just felt like for some reason it was just a terrible performance, and it really made me angry. So, parking me there, where do you three stand on the weekend and both games, really, and the decisions that were made? Maybe if we start with Liverpool first, that's probably the more newsworthy.
All right, I'll lead. I'll go first. I think not even just because of the Liverpool game, and I know like Tosh made this point, like now we're against it because the decision's just gone against us. That's not the case, and I really want to make that clear. I think VAR has completely ruined the game, and the enjoyment as a football fan. And the weekend just gone is prime example on like two occasions. When you score, and that's the joy of football, and it's the same for anyone. When you score, you celebrate, and that's what you do. You're scared to do that because obviously they just go and check it on VAR, and they check everything. It's like they don't even just check the first, like almost like the point of contact. They check everything before that as well. So no matter what type of goal it is, they always check VAR. So you're always on tenterhooks of that. But then even things like the penalty save. So obviously you save the penalty, you celebrate again. They check that, see if he come off his line. So I think just that like joy of football has gone totally because of VAR, and we all know the biggest thing is that you celebrate, you're passionate about what your team does, and I think to take that away is madness. It's rubbish, and on top of that, the standard of referees, they're so scared to make a decision, or like they don't make any decisions anymore because VAR just tells them what to do. Like that penalty decision on the weekend, I actually think it was a penalty. I think he hits his foot no matter what. Like if that Doku's obviously running at pace, he takes his foot with his knee, penalty. But if you look at the referee, he's got such a clear view of it, and he's squatted like referees do when they go like bang on. He couldn't be more clear straight ahead of it, and he doesn't give a penalty. But then VAR give the penalty, which is fine because in theory it's the right decision, but it doesn't need to be football. It shouldn't be like an exact science type thing, and I think to rely on it so heavily, the way it's influenced every decision in the game now, it's almost sad to see, I think.
Yeah, it's I have a very different like relationship towards referees because obviously my job in America, it's like we used like before COVID, I think we had like 4,000 or 5,000 referees available to us. Now we've got like 1,500. So like I don't tend to get angry either. I tend to like, it's like I can't affect it. And as a fan, it's like whatever. I agree. VAR is the problem. I don't think the referees are clearly helping Liverpool win the league, Sean, which you said a few weeks ago. I think that's changed. But the penalty was like, I actually think it's soft. Really soft. I feel like it's not enough contact to make someone go flying to the floor. And I feel like that gets rewarded in VAR now, because now they're looking for any contact, anything, regardless of how strong it is or not. And then the offside was just like, it's just mad. He is an offside position, but not a chance he's in line. He's not blocking Donnarumma. Donnarumma has to dive that way anyway because the ball is going that way. If it hits Robertson, it is offside. So I don't think that this whole thing, like, he's interfering. He's not interfering.
But
And it was what was interesting because I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights because I was working all day. But the entire team's in the corner, and then the flag goes up. Like, it didn't go up right away, and then they check on VAR afterwards. I thought that was a bit off as well.
I think the other thing about it, like, I agree with your point, Max. The other thing about it is, like, the person in VAR at games, Michael Oliver. Now, I know Liverpool fans don't like Michael Oliver, fine, and I'm not one to buy into that. But the integrity of, like, referees, I think, is brought into question to an extent. And you see that with the likes of David Coote, as an example, who was one of the best referees in the Premier, apparently, for a year ago. And now, obviously, what's happened to him. I'm not saying Michael Oliver is anyway like that, but who's he to make that decision when he's not there? And particularly with being Michael Oliver against Liverpool and all them connotations, the VAR, I don't think anyone almost trusts them either, type thing. So it ruins the whole level. The whole game is all brought into question by a decision like that. I think Callum's point about the offside, I thought he was bang on about that, and, like, some credit needs to go to City because they're so well versed because of Pep that they all move out straight away to catch people offside. So testament to him on that thing. And by the letter of law, there's defo contention. But I agree with you, Max. I mean, it's not offside. Donnarumma's not going to save it. He's not blocking Donnarumma. He's not going to touch it. Obviously, Callum's shaking his head because he's an Everton fan, through and through. Fair enough, but yeah.
My thing with that, right, from a footballing point of view, the whole thing about being interfering with play is that he is either going to touch the ball, which he doesn't, and he doesn't try to, he gets out of the way, or he's in the line of the goalkeeper, and he's not in the line of the goalkeeper. Van Dijk's at the back post, Robertson's at the front post. He's not in the line, so it's irrelevant. Those two referees, the one who refereed the game and Michael Oliver, both give 2 goals to City in the last year in the same situation. Bernardo Silva is directly in front of the goalkeeper and ducks out the way, and they give a goal. And then the one where Akanji steps over the ball. So if anyone's going to say, like, they're offside, and then say Robertson was, it's a joke, and it's clearly just a biased opinion, which I'm sure Callum's about to give. From a footballing point of view, let's say it's not a goal and it's fair with the field. A player's walking back from offside, and he lets the ball run past him or steps over it. He's not interfering with play. He's trying to touch the ball, and another player runs through. That's not offside. It's not the rule.
That point as well, I said about it being that it's almost like they've made it an exact science. If it is an exact science, the consistency needs to be there on the decisions. And the fact that there is inconsistency, i.e. what Max just said, you question VAR then. So you question the exact science that they've introduced because it doesn't deliver the same results, if that makes sense.
It does.
And that's so upsetting.
I think the worst thing here is, and we've got our opinions on the offside, right? If there was no VAR and that offside was given, we're just talking about whether it was a bad decision or not, and we're moving on. I think there's way more to it, and like you said, Griffin, the lack of trust. And I think just there's no consistency. I also think in general, England's referees are pretty poor. When you watch the Champions League midweek, there's some the higher standard referees in other countries right now. We're meant to have the best league in the world, but we definitely don't have the best referees. Callum, take it away.
Yeah. Right, there's a lot to reply to there. I think I've got a
fucking Bruce Almighty over there.
Right, so I think Griffin is right in the fact that what I don't like with VAR is, and I suppose the game, they've made up so many rules that now they've got to kind of like referee the game to all of these mad rules that they've kind of made up. Instead of just keeping football dead simple, they're like chasing the tail because they're like making up all these like rules that you can and can't do. Then they're trying to like kind of make decisions to kind of make those rules like seem like they make sense. And I think with it being like an exact science where like you can be offside by like a toe, but then you see someone taking a throw in, and I know this is a stupid example, they'll throw it 20 yards forward from where it went out. That's a big difference. Like, how can they be so like granular over one thing, but then just let something else just completely like go? The same with like you can only VAR for some things and not others. You can get a corner, but it should have been a goal kick and score straight from that. But then it makes no difference. That's the thing that annoys me about it. Either like do it and do it totally, or just kind of scrap it. which I think that annoys me a bit. The fact that like you can get away with certain things, but then not others, which is annoying. I think Griffin's had out the penalty. I think it is a penalty, and I don't think he falls. He actually doesn't. Doku, to be fair, doesn't throw himself to the floor. He kind of tries his best to stay up. And had the keeper not took his knee, Doku probably just has a clean shot on goal, but he doesn't because he's kind of taken him out. The referees looked at it and maybe thought he's kind of just slipped. It was wet, wasn't it? And a few players had slipped anyway. So I think it was a pen. In terms of them checking it, obviously they check all the pens, which is fair enough because, again, they've made this rule where he's got to have at least 1 foot over the line when he dives. So I think that's worth checking. But also, I don't think they're actually checking for that. They were checking for Van Dijk, who cleared it. Because Van Dijk cleared the save, didn't he? And he could have well been in the box by the time Haaland had saved. So I think that's what they were checking for, rather than the keeper being off the line. I think that was a suggestion that they were checking the defenders, whether they'd encroached, rather than...
Well, all right, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, maybe I was wrong about that. But even that
no,
just like, come on.
I think as well, with the celebrating, and I'm not kind of, beating this drum of, you need to go to the game or whatever, but in the stadium, you celebrate it. You don't, might be offside. You celebrate it, but then obviously you look at it and you think, to be fair, the 3 goals Everton had, which we'll get onto in a bit, as soon as I'd stood up, I kind of thought, yeah, he's offside. You could see that the flag went up. And to be fair, in the moment, for most of ours, I thought that's probably offside. I thought
there's no way you thought they were offside.
The one that the Tarkowski scored, I actually thought Ndiaye was offside from Tarkowski's header. I thought that one was offside. The one where Ndiaye slides in, I thought Ndiaye was offside, but I don't know if he touched it, which was the thing that I was thinking of.
Before we go on to that, what was your opinion on the Robertson one?
I haven't finished on Liverpool yet, Max.
That's all right, because I do want to talk about Everton as well.
Long guess, lad.
Don't worry. And yeah, okay, I'll probably leave having a go at referees because that's been kind of done. But the Robinson thing, he's 100% offside. He just is. The ball is headed.
You're too far the other way, honestly.
Wait, just
let him make his point.
Listen, I didn't interrupt you. The ball is headed to Robertson's direction, and Robertson ducks to get out of the way of the ball. That's it. That's as good as interfering as. I don't know why that isn't interfering. If he stands still, it hits him. So and he ducks to get out of the way of it.
What is he interfering with?
The keeper, the flight of the ball. Because if
the keeper's not waiting. The keeper's not waiting for it to hit him.
Sorry. The flight of the ball. So the ball changed its fucking flight because he ducked.
If he wouldn't have gone out the way, it would have.
And it would have been off. It would have been offside if he's not
waiting.
Out the way.
The keeper's not waiting.
The keeper has to. The keeper 100% has one eye on him. It's the same as if a defender has to try and play the ball, then there's a player standing behind him. You don't actually have to make an attempt. If he has to deliberately defend it, then he's offside.
That happens all the time. When it doesn't get given offside.
If the ball goes in the other I think if Van Dijk nods it into his kind of near post, I don't think anyone's questioning it. The fact that it's gone towards Robson, he's ducked.
I think the angle of the ball.
It's hard and it's one of them. But again, I think the defence have got out quicker than Robinson has.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they're trained to do.
Do you think if Robinson's not there, Donnarumma saves that?
No,
I don't think that matters.
Well, that's the thing. So you're saying he interferes with the flight of the ball and he's affecting Donnarumma.
He interferes with that play 100%. He's standing in Donnarumma's 6-yard box.
He's to his left out and the ball's coming from the right, and he actually already starts to dive as the ball's on its way. He's got no idea about Robertson. He's already diving to where the ball goes.
I think
he's mid-flight before Robertson.
I think you're wrong to think Griffin might say he's an elite goalie. He has no idea if the player in his 6 yards.
No, he has an idea.
He's 100%. Look, he's 100% watching him.
He's already started to dive before Robinson's even ducked. He's diving across the goal.
I don't think it's as black and white as Max is saying. Don't get me wrong. I don't. There's contention because Callum is right. He is in the 6-yard box. Also, on that point about him being a league goalie, Callum, well, he is an elite goalie.
I know we're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. But no, Van Dijk's headed it across into Robertson's direction.
I think if
Robertson hasn't, he's ducked, and so it's the same as if it was a shot and the player's lifted his leg to get out the way.
Yeah, but if the angle of the head when he heads the ball, if Robertson is stood from say Van Dijk to Robertson, to the goalie, and Donnarumma can't see it, then I totally agree with your point, and I'd be saying defo. But he's not. So he is in front of the ball flight, absolutely, but he's not in front of or obstructing Donnarumma in any way. Donnarumma sees it from when the ball gets headed to where it's going. He doesn't hesitate or like shimmy as if Robertson's going to touch it. He makes a move to dive straight away, and he can't get near it.
I'll be honest, right? We're saying he doesn't hesitate to think, these players are working on reactions that like we wouldn't even see. Honestly, he's delaying is whatever he does.
So how can you say it's 100% offside then, based on that? If they're operating on reflexes that are like that, if you're 100% certain, you're 100%.
He was in an offside position. That's why he was actually in an offside position, wasn't he?
But the rule is you have to be offside to interfere with play. It's not just you behind the last line anymore. It's a different rule, isn't it?
I think ducking suggests that you're interfering, because if you didn't duck, then you would have hit the ball.
But the decisions that Max has talked about, i.e. the ones that City got, so I think Nathan Ake scores a goal.
I've not seen the Ake one. The Silva one, my thing is for that, when he's actually in the way of the goalie, he's not actually in an offside position because the ball hasn't been headed yet, and he's actually the other side of him by the time.
But the keeper's thinking about him.
If Lycan dies against Tottenham O'Brien, where you see before it has actually made, he's in an offside position in front of the goalie. By the time O'Brien heads it, and dies actually behind the goalie, and that was classed as interfering. He's actually behind them towards like the back post. I think it's harsh, but I'd like it is what it is, and that is kind of the rule. And I think if a player ducks to get out the way of a ball, that is off. That's enough for me to be like that's offside. The ball's put over to him, and he ducks. Put over to his direction and he ducks to get out the way of it. I think it's
definitely more contentious than it's 100% offside though. And I think, and another point on the football side of things is that Liverpool fans will make it out like, oh God, we got that goal disallowed. It doesn't make any difference, that goal, by the way, because we were miles off it before and after that. So that's not affected the game. I think if we're just talking about referees and VAR, though, it's...
I would disagree with that.
I mean, you're going 1-1 and probably affecting. All I would say is, though, I know you said the plays were in the corner. Have you actually seen a replay of it? The way Robertson walks away. I think Robertson knows he's offside in what he's done. He doesn't celebrate. Robertson knows.
Yeah, because he knows that he's probably going to give it.
He knows that he was offside and he got out the way of it. Why wouldn't
he argues with the referee at half time about it being not offside?
Yeah. But you can walk away that way. You can act as if you knew he was offside position, but at the same time, he knows a referee like them are going to give these consensus.
I know, Callum, you think you're some sort of genius on body language expert and all this thing because you did a psychology GCSE, but you're not.
You always say that, Callum. Come on.
Yeah, did you see Robertson how he acted when he walked away? When we had a goal disallowed? Yeah. Oh, what do you expect him to be doing?
No. The way he walked away, went in.
Easy kid.
He didn't celebrate the goal.
Can I just throw out? I haven't spoken about half an hour. I'm just letting it all flow. Does in terms of like the City one and this Liverpool one, is distance to the keeper? Are we not like, as Callum says, he's literally like arm's length away from him, whereas on the City one, was it Bernardo Silva? He's like ages away. So in terms of Donnarumma's reactions. And Callum's talking about reactions, like Donnarumma is like on a different planet to any of us in terms of like that, especially in terms of going in goal. But his reactions from the ball being there where Robertson's ducked are like insane how fast he's going to make that decision. Surely that's got to be taken into account.
But again, though, the Silva one's different because the ball is on line with Silva, on line to goalkeeper, whereas the ball is on line to the corner of the goal where Robertson is, and
Donnarumma's already reacted.
It was Callum.
He's reacted off the header.
But Bernardo Silva is in front of the goalkeeper on a linear path, and he ducks out the way, and he gives the goal. The Akanji one's similar to this one. The Akanji one's similar to this one because it's going to the corner of the goal. The corner of the goal, honestly, and he jumps over the ball.
Rewatch the Silva one. He's in the front of the goal before it gets headed. When the corner's taken, he's kind of like backing into the goalie. But when he actually makes the header, Silva's nowhere near him. And the ball just goes straight ahead of the goalie. So when Silva's like backing into him and like interfering with the goalie, he's not actually in an offside position. Because it's from a corner, so you can't be offside from a corner.
But he's offside from the
made.
header. Yeah, so that's why we talking about the corner when we're talking about a header.
He's offside from the header, but he's away from the goalie when he gets headed.
So
the goalie's still got to think about someone who is directly interfering with him, though, hasn't he?
Sorry. I'm going to interrupt there because to your point, Callum, if he's not near the keeper, then Robertson's almost be onside. I'm saying Bernardo Silva was in front of the keeper. You're saying he wasn't near the keeper and he's ducked out the way of a ball, and then the goal's been given. So you're saying that should have counted. I don't
think Bernardo Silva did.
He did. He practically falls over getting out the way, unless we're not talking the same goal. What's he getting out the way of? A fucking ghost.
I think Callum's just ruined his own point there.
Exactly.
Now he's just being like a child.
You've just contradicted your point about Robertson's goal by saying Bernardo Silva should have been allowed.
I think you've just done that, Callum.
I didn't say Bernardo Silva should have been allowed. I said he was nowhere near. I said he wasn't an offside, and he did.
You just said he was offside from the header, Callum. You just said on the header he's offside. What's he getting out the way of? He gets out the way of the ball and almost falls over.
He's in an offside position, but he's not in the way of the ball. 100% he's not.
So what did he get out the way of? He practically almost falls over, unless we're completely talking about a drifting goal.
No, it's
you see that argument, Callum's argument, when he does that, he just turns into I don't think it was.
No, it's the same goal. I'm talking about the same goal, but he's not in front of the goal. He doesn't. He's further away from the ball as Robertson.
I think we should end this soon because it's going to end up this series 4.
All I was going to say was, you're all shouting at Callum. You don't even let them speak. Like,
good.
You can't argue and you're not letting them speak.
I think he did argue and got caught up. The Akanji one is more similar because Akanji's not in front of the goal. He's on the side and he jumps out the way and he gives that goal. So that's where my discrepancy is. The Bernardo Silva one, I think he is in front. But going back to your point, Griffin, I actually think going in at half-time, 1-1, when you haven't played poorly and you've just been given a goal, changes a lot of things. I think ultimately the second half, we weren't great anyway, and I think they could have went on to go win the game anyway, City. But going in at 1-1, when you know you've been playing poorly and you can change things to adjust then, and then say, hey, let's not do this, let's sit back further or whatever. I think it changes, but ultimately, you're right. We were so far off the pace again. Midweek against Real Madrid, we were absolutely brilliant. The best game I've seen Liverpool play for a long, long time, even going back to last year. And then to come out and play so poorly against City was just disappointing. But enough of that. Everton.
No, let's stay with Liverpool just for a minute.
Oh, God damn it!
I just want to talk about two things I want to bring up. Number one, I know we've discussed them in the last couple of weeks. Where are we all on Salah, like amongst Liverpool fans? Where are you now? Like, should he still be playing? Should he be dropped?
Yeah, probably. He's clearly not playing well. I feel like he's very affected by Diogo Jota's death last year. I think he just doesn't want to. He's not really as bothered. He's so emotional every season. There's always something he was trying to prove or a point to prove and try and do something different. This year, he's just like. He's so off it. I think Liverpool fans, they get called the E-fans now, Sean. The online stuff, they're getting called Liverpool E-fans who are abusing Salah online. And like last week, he took stuff down or whatever. He's just massively struggling. He's underperforming. And they need to start thinking about someone else to play there or playing some sort of different way. Isak's back on the bench now, or back around the team anyway. They're going to have to do something because it just seems so out of it. Like, so out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure every Liverpool fan would agree, and I'd go as far as to say, especially in my lifetime, you're talking Gerrard, Suarez, Salah in my lifetime of the best players ever to play for Liverpool, and never take that away from him. But it almost feels now that we potentially should have let him go last season, just gone. Like at the end, just let him go, because you can keep someone for too long, and you think. Like, even yesterday, what Salah used to be so good at is he'd get you on the edge of the seat when he had the ball going at someone. But he seems to have lost that just turn of pace that even yesterday in City when he had the ball and going at someone, he just loses it straight away. And his effect on the game used to be like so clinical, and even if he played poorly, even though he's done that twice this season, it'd still contribute goals or assists, whereas he's lost that now as well. So it's like Liverpool's strength for so long was the pressing and press from the front, and Salah was key to that, as was the front three. But Salah did do his fair share. Now it feels like he just hasn't got that, like, the turn of pace, I suppose, is the big thing. That a winger, if he's playing as a winger or an inside forward, that he is, you need that. So if he hasn't got that, they need to adapt his game to someone else, because it's having a detriment on the whole team. Yesterday, the City game, they have the ball at the back, and City, don't get me wrong, are a fantastic side, but they're not the City that us three have seen. You know, that lineup that you see yesterday, I was thinking we'll beat them because the midfield didn't look. I thought we'd overpower them in midfield. I thought the team's good, but not massively good. They get the ball at the back about 4 or 5 times and pass it out around Liverpool, go straight up to the other end and attack. Under Klopp, and under seasons we've had in the past with Salah, Mane, Firmino, that type of player, even Diaz, even Nunes. I know Nunes was a bit of a he pressed on the front massively. We haven't got that anymore. We've lost that this season, it seems. So for City to pass around us like that, that's not Liverpool that we're so used to. So it's like, I think I said weeks and weeks ago now about the identity and about Slot doesn't kind of know what we are and what we're doing. It felt like that again yesterday against City for us not to turn up. We didn't press, we didn't run, we lost every duel. The 1-1 thing, I take your point, Max, but because we were so poor in like just running, like Gary Neville said it on commentary, we looked leggy after about 20 minutes. We didn't get close to them. For them to pass it around us, that's not like. Where's the, like we said it about Fabinho, Henderson, Wijnaldum, Milner, just like people who would die for the team, run into the ground. None of them did that yesterday, apart from Bradley, I felt.
Yeah, I think for Salah now, it's like he obviously had a massive season last year. By the way, we can't, like, he was 5th in the Ballon d'Or vote when he got votes to be the Ballon d'Or winner. I think now it's like he's eventually going to go to Saudi Arabia probably. Whether it's the summer or next year for free. But I think if you're Liverpool and you get a big offer in January, you're thinking about that. And I think there's talk of Semenyo coming in because Richard Hughes knows the clause that's in the contract because he's the one who set the contract up. Where we're not going to pay 100 million for Semenyo, it might be something cheaper. I think you might have to start thinking about it, unfortunately, before it gets too bad.
On the same lines, then obviously Salah's underperforming. We will move on from Liverpool. Just got these things. Why then, and this is probably a question for everyone, why is Florian Wirtz so protected by football from criticism? Because if you think about some of the foreign imports we've had over the last couple of years, like Havertz was never given a chance when he came in. Gyökeres has faced like constant. Everyone's waiting for him to slip up. In fairness, he hasn't. He's done decent. Why is no one talking about the absolute disaster that is Florian Wirtz?
I don't think he is an absolute disaster. I don't know.
He's being panned by everybody.
I couldn't disagree more. I don't feel like he is.
I think outside Liverpool he is. I think in Liverpool, Liverpool fans are very, I feel like, always give new players time to bed, and even if they are playing poorly, I don't think he has been a disaster. I think against Real Madrid, he was our best player on Tuesday. The thing with modern day football fans, they just tie any player down to goals and assists and don't look at what he actually does on the field. And you've got to then say, it's not just Florian. The whole team's bad. The whole team's playing poorly. So then to say, like, you're almost saying Florian Wirtz, I know the money's big, but to say, you'd have to say if like he's going to come in and like be the saviour, the Lord and Saviour of the team and be the best player by far straight away. He's still only 22. I think he's younger than Harvey.
On Sky yesterday, Mika Richards had they had a proper discussion about him, and it wasn't kind in any way. TalkSport, he's been slammed on.
It's taken 10, 11 games to get to this point. Like, if you look at, like, genuinely Kai Havertz, just like, you say, like, Wirtz is what, 22? How old was Havertz when he went to Chelsea? He must have been at a similar age. He wasn't given a sniff. Like, no one gave him a hope. And then he's had to live with that now. Even at Arsenal, he's still just a big joke. Wirtz has been given a bit of thing. He's number one, maybe because it's Liverpool. But, like, I don't know why he's got a reputation where we can't talk about how ineffective he's been. I know you'll say he is being. He isn't. He's not assisting. He's not scoring. So what is he doing to not be criticised for? That's what I don't understand.
I think Griffin's right. He is getting slated by everyone outside of Liverpool.
I genuinely don't think he is. I think I could give you 10, maybe off the top of my head. So many players who come in from abroad,
Yeah,
got that target on the back, would have got to deliver this 007 thing, which has become a thing recently. Like, you see memes, you saw memes of, like, as I say, like Havertz or Mudryk, players like that. Considering I live in Liverpool and a lot of my social media is Liverpool people, I don't see any memes about Vert. I don't see.
yeah.
I just for some reason, and I'm not saying it's a Liverpool thing because Liverpool can't do anything about this, but I just don't understand it. I don't understand why it's not all everyone's talking about. But the fact Liverpool are 3 points above Everton, considering they were going to win the league 5 weeks ago, they're 3 points above Everton, and they're £120 million player, the golden boy of Europe, has done nothing.
Yeah. I think that's. I take your point. I do. I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism, but fair enough. You're probably all right. He's not being like made out to be a joke, which is, yeah, right or wrong. But I think because Liverpool as a whole at the moment are so poor, I think he's potentially going under the radar about how ineffective he's been, and there's no denying he's been ineffective. We signed him, as you said, the golden boy. I didn't watch Leverkusen last season, I'm not going to claim to do that. But when we signed him, it was as exciting a signing as we potentially ever made. He was the man that everyone in Europe wanted, and we got him. And he doesn't fit in a number 10. He played off the left wing yesterday. He was shite. He doesn't play as part of a three. Doesn't play as part as part of a three in the middle. He doesn't play as a false nine. So it's like. And I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I've said it in the past. It's like we signed a luxury player in a system that it doesn't allow for a luxury player. We don't have that number 10 who can, the game doesn't. I know we spoke about that as well as topics. The game doesn't allow that. That's why City now have that. They don't have luxury players. They're a different size to what they ever have been. And I think he's probably not getting criticised as he should do because as a whole, Liverpool is so off it, and I think, if anything, it's Slot who's getting the criticism, probably deservedly so, because the team looks object of ideas and of an identity that Liverpool have had for 10 years since Klopp. You know what I mean? Every team at the top now, you see an identity. You know exactly what to do in Arsenal, City. Liverpool City is synonymous with being one of the best games of the season all the time. It's always a battle. There's always goals. It's a real good game. Yesterday it was 75 minutes. I stopped watching almost because this is no way were we going to win the game.
Yeah, I think.
In fairness, there were goals yesterday.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
I still think I don't. He's obviously not been effective. I do agree with that. This could be it. I think most of it comes down to Liverpool being very poor. Not last season before when they went unbeaten, Leverkusen, I did happen to watch a lot of their games because for some reason German football is quite big in America and it's on ESPN a lot. He was brilliant, but the luxury piece that Griffin's mentioned, Leverkusen would switch to like a 3-4-3 in possession and the left back, Grimaldo would go into midfield and Wirtz would become like this free player who would just be able to do what he wants. I think that's a very valid point that we can't do that, and Wirtz has been required to do a lot of other stuff. And I would say when the team clicks, he looks good, and he did that on Tuesday night. I stand by it. I think he was our best player on Tuesday night against Real Madrid. And when the team doesn't, it's very heightened how ineffective he is.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, just wanted to get that off my chest. But we will move on just briefly. Been a lot of Liverpool. We'll touch quickly on Everton. As Callum said earlier, potentially the best we've played this season. So, Cal, what were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I want to slag off Wirtz.
Oh, sorry.
I thought we were. I thought it was the best on and off the ball we've been all season. I think off the ball, miles better than we have been. The last few weeks, I thought we've looked a bit devoid of ideas, a bit lethargic, a bit slow. I thought the Sunderland game was there for the taking. We should have been 3-0 up after 20 minutes because they were awful. and they made about 5 mistakes in their own third where we should have capitalised, but we didn't because we were just a bit too slow. But I thought on Saturday we put a lot of pressure on Fulham's back line. We made them play the ball like out of play a lot, I thought. The amount of times where they just misplaced passes that went straight out because we were pressing very well. It made a big difference having Garner at right back. I think it just meant that we were able to kind of... I think any kind of intensity, I think, comes from your back line anyway, and just being able to kind of get out quick, play the ball quick, get to the man quicker. I think having Garner at right back, apart from instead of O'Brien, and then having like Irabunum in the middle, I think made a big difference, just like energy. I think that allowed for Dewsbury Hall to then do more running and kind of put himself out, which I think he's like unbelievably fit in. He covers some distance throughout the game. He just seems to be everywhere. So yeah, I thought we were really good, really impressive. Played some good football, carved out good chances. I know we moan that we had 3 goals offside and that. You won't hear any moaning from us though, because it's offside, and we respect the refs' decisions. This side, the Merseyside. But I think having 3 goals disallowed like a good sign in terms of like, we're creating chances, we're carving out chances, and they were all kind of marginal kind of offside. I don't actually think the offsides that we had gained much of an advantage to the play, if that makes sense. It didn't really change the attack very much.
It was interfering with the play, definitely. They were all aware.
They all were. No, they actually all were, Max, and I agree. Nobody ducked out the way. Nobody ducked out the way of the ball.
Can I just jump in on that for a second? I watched the highlights here, the American ones. They never showed replays of any of the offsides, which I always thought was weird. So how close were they?
They were all dead close, but they were all definitely offside. So the first goal, but they're all in the build up though. I don't think so. The first goal, the cross comes in, it's Tarkowski's flick onto Ndai. He's kind of just his shoulders. It's one of them where he's just kind of his shoulders offside as he heads it kind of thing. Then he ends up I think it touches another 3 players before he ends up scoring. The Tieno Barry one, it's Ndai just at the near post, and it's kind of as the sliding to get it, he's just kind of ahead of the ball. It's more like he's ahead of the ball in that one. And then the third one is probably that's the most similar to the Liverpool one, or most similar to that rule in terms of Barry stood in an offside position, doesn't actually get the ball, but he's just, the defender has to defend it.
That was the one where
kind of knocks it out.
I couldn't figure out what that one was when I'm watching that.
He's definitely offside, and Barry tries to pass it to him, and he stood in an offside position, but I mean, Barry wouldn't have controlled it anyway.
He stretches for the ball, which makes the defender stretch.
The defender gets it.
He needs Dewsbury also. It's kind of like, if Barry doesn't make a play for that, the defender probably deals with it differently. So I also think I would say, in terms of you say there's no replays, being in the ground, they put a still after VAR, they put a still on the screens.
Yeah.
I do think for 2 of them anyway, for the Tarkowski one and the Barry one, I thought even just from the still on the screen, I think you could see they were off.
They put the still of the game on the screen at the ground.
Put a still of so they'll go through the decision, and then they'll put the still on the screen. Yeah,
you've got to if a decision
you have a big
changed,
screen.
You've got it's only Liverpool and United who haven't got them.
I was going to say Liverpool don't have
the stadiums, but you've got if the decisions change, you've got to show it to the crowd.
Yeah, and all the fans in them grounds are on the phones anyway, so it's fine.
I hate that rule. Just on that one, and tying with the referees, when the referee now has to announce the thing, and they're clearly shitting themselves doing it when it zooms in on them on telly.
Before he said that the thing, he nearly mixed up his words, didn't he? When he gave him a pen,
I can see that Knocker is clearly me.
He didn't know how to pronounce your keeper's name, so he didn't say it. He went keeper.
Number 2. Yeah.
But I think I should have said this before. VAR, saying I was kind of linked to that, and you talk about VAR being what it is. When you have the Premier League Twitter account tweeting things with popcorn emojis and stuff for the showpiece and look at what's happened here, I think that's kind of it's. And then you have a 45-minute show on a Monday morning about referees and these decisions. I genuinely think part of it all is kind of the show, and to kind of make clips and to to make it look like something. Same with the ref doing that. It's like, can we just add a bit of drama to make it like a reality TV show? Yeah. I think that's kind of, the Premier League should be tweeting things like that, of like decisions being like contentious and like with popcorn emojis. I think it's not like it's not a reality TV show. It's not. I think they're trying to make it like entertainment and viral and clips and all that, which I think is what VAR allows them to do. It allows them to make it a lot more kind of dramatic. But
that's the most sensible thing you've said in a long time, that Callum. Truly, give it up.
But yeah, the Blues were good. I enjoyed it. It was a good performance. I think everyone played well. Michael Keane has had a great season, and Dye was great. Grealish was great again. I don't know. We just, there's been 4 or 5 games this season where I've thought we haven't necessarily played bad there, but we've just kind of shot ourselves in the foot a bit, and we just haven't kind of took the game by the scruff of the neck when we should have done. Or we've just been a bit like, we've done everything great, but then just kind of fell short, and it's just kind of, we've not quite got over the hurdle. I thought on Saturday that was like the game where everything kind of just looked like it was kind of falling into place. But yeah, I don't get me wrong, I think we got away with a couple where Pickford made a couple of saves, and they had a couple of half chances where they weren't great. But I think sometimes when a team doesn't play great, you've got to give some kind of credit to the opposition as well. I think we made sure that they didn't play well.
I thought he looked good. I watched most of the game. I thought he genuinely looked good. I thought honestly Tarkowski looked impressive as well. I think he had a very good game.
Yeah. I think from me, I'd say like last week, I was almost like, I posed the question, didn't I, about like, would Moyes be brave enough to like make changes? I feel like everyone's asking for certain changes. Moyes wasn't brave enough, and then this weekend he did it, and he put Jake O'Brien on the bench, moved Garner to right back, put Irby Unum in there. It kind of like, I feel like it just gave everyone a bit more purpose in that midfield, because I feel like when Garner, I don't rate Garner as a centre mid, I'll be honest. James Garner, that is. And I feel like when it's those three, as in Garner Gay, James Garner, and Hughes All, I don't think anyone knows where they're meant to be playing. It's just they're all running around a bit, not doing anything in particular, which I think is a problem. Whereas with Irby Unum and Garner Gay, it just, as you say, it just allows Hughes All just to kind of drive us forward, which was great.
Yeah, no, he's good at that. He's good at that. Yeah, he can drive with the ball.
Yeah, he was very good, and he was even like, is it interceptions? It was like he was on something. I thought at times where like they'd play a ball and he was on it. He was trying to win every single thing before it got it.
Like everywhere though, everywhere. Like no matter where he picked up balls, like who was that? It was like Dewsbury Hall. Then he'd do it like right back, left back. Yeah. He gets around the pitch very well. But I think I love James Garner. I think James Garner's great, and I think it's one of them. You kind of, similar to what you were saying before, Griffin, about like those plays that you haven't got at Liverpool anymore. Garner is kind of a bit like that play where you just know he'll give like a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week. I think he's dead comfortable on the ball. He gets around the pitch. He'll tackle. He's quite composed.
Just to clarify, I mean, I appreciate your point, but just to I do want to make it clear, James Garner would get nowhere near our team. Like, I just want to make that.
I wasn't saying he would, but I'm just saying in terms of that type of player that he'd kind of play I think he could play anywhere for us, and he
did play. I thought he played well. Yeah,
he'd do a job. The games where he'd be out of left back and he'd done a job. He's right back now. He does a job. Centre mid, I like him. He's not physically very kind of impressive. He's not massive. He's not massively strong, but I think he's in a team that isn't blessed with loads of technically good footballers. I think he's quite technically good, and he'll play just an easy pass and he'll get us up the pitch. And I think the ball coming to him at right back is infinitely better than it is at Jake O'Brien coming at, and it just allows us to start. It allows us to start attacks. I think we just look more comfortable within it. But I think, sorry, I don't want to drag on. We've got other things to go on to, but on the Moyes' changes, I don't know why you bring O'Brien on. Why bring O'Brien on in that game there? It was stupid. Bring Diblin on or someone, and like just bring someone else on. That was a game where you could give Diblin 10-15 minutes where there's no pressure on him. Just kind of go and see what you can do. Just go and enjoy it, because we're going to lose Ndiaye and Gay in January, aren't we? So these players need to be getting minutes.
I'd also say though, after like 75 minutes, Ndiaye looked dead.
Well, he went off injured, didn't he, in the Sunderland game, didn't he?
Yeah. But like I know there's an argument to international break, so why take him off? But he just looked dead, and you think it's the perfect like for like to put Dibble on. But
Yeah,
again, sometimes the substitutions are a bit mad. One thing I will say, I've been critical of Tierno Barry. I thought he had a much better game. I don't believe he was as good as everyone made out he was. I think he put himself about a bit more. His control, as in like he was his layoffs and that were quite impressive. However, there were quite a few times when he just fell over, which like I don't know where you were in the ground, Cal, but there was one point as in my like far right over here, and he kind of ran down the line, did really well, beat a couple of players, and then just fell over.
He fell over. Yeah.
Everyone around me was just laughing at him. Like I don't think your star striker people should be laughing at him personally. But I also think he's not your kind of player, is he, Barry? No.
He's not got a touch like Cal did. Cal turn on a sixpence.
Cal talks about technical players. Tierno Barry is not one of those.
Callum is the opposite of Tierno Barry, as in Callum could touch it, turn it, but Tierno Barry can run and is strong. That was the difference, Cal. Sorry.
You can't even run with it and keep the ball. As you're saying there, you got to clap off because I think everyone was a bit like, yeah, you've tried. You weren't as bad as better would have been if he'd have started.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
No,
sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say a question for Everton fans. Like, I think against Fulham, you played on the front foot more than. I mean, I don't watch Everton every week, but you played on the front foot. It seemed. Do you reckon Moyes would do that more if he had a striker who could nick a goal? Do you think he knows that Beto and Barry are what they are?
Yeah, I was going to say
he's great at having like strikers that are exactly that, though, aren't they? Dennis Chakalesi type players.
I like Beto. I like Beto coming off the bench. I think Beto off the bench, he's like. I'm not going to say he's a dangerous prospect, but he's a bit of like he calls it chaos a little bit because he's quick, he's strong, he can run people ragged at that point. If he comes on with like 20 to go when we need a goal, not that he's going to give us the goal, but he might make a bit of space. I like him off the bench. I don't like him when he starts, but I also don't think Barry's definitely not the answer. And I also think, and I'll go to you last thing in a minute, Cal, but my point was going to be, I also think he needs to just swerve having these big tantrums when he gets subbed off. Like, the other day, like I text Max a picture when he changed his Instagram picture to him on the bench, and then he got brought off after, 18 minutes or something? And he's throwing his arms off, having a big sulk, and you're like, mate, like, you're lucky to be on this long. I honestly just think he's just a big baby, and then Everton fans humoured him by giving him a standing ovation. Like, I'm not one of these people who stands up and gives substitutes a standing ovation. I just don't think they've earned it. But he hadn't. But everyone humoured him and went, "Oh, it's okay, mate." Like you would do to a toddler. Just grow up. Like you cost £30 million. You just need to just face it. Be good at footy.
Yeah, so I'll do that. And I'll do the point I was going to say. But yeah. I think that Sunderland game where he starts like sulking, it's like you've missed from 3 yards out. If you put that away, you don't get brought off for that.
Yeah.
You score that first, and then moan if you want to moan, but put that one away. And then the other day, it was like you've played 80 minutes, you've played half well. The fans are kind of half pleased with how you played. You still haven't scored, you didn't do anything. Just that was like a fair sub. That wasn't like you've been hooked after like 48 minutes.
Yeah.
That was like there was nothing wrong with that substitution at all. I was like, yeah, well in 80 minutes, good lad. All I was going to say is on a striker point, and we'll move on. But I mean, I was a big fan of DCL, Sean knows, but it's almost kind of like we let him go at the wrong time. Yeah. He's like the striker we just need now. Someone who will keep the ball up there, hold it up, lay it off to let our three most dangerous players go and do what they need to do. We've got Grealish and Ndiaye there who just put the ball into the box so much, but none of our strikers put it away. DCL wasn't clinical. I know people say he wasn't a good finisher and that, but the great season he did have was when we had someone who would actually feed him the ball and give him and create chances. We've let him go, and we've kind of built the team for DCL, but let him go, which is a bit frustrating.
Did you let him go, or did he leave? No.
Well, we let him go in as much. We let him go in as much as we didn't give him what he wanted. I suppose we didn't give him.
I do think Callum's right there. I think anyone would agree with that. He's made that is a good point.
That's very good.
Calvert-Lewin would finish a lot more and better, and
well, not even just his finishing, though. Just holding the ball, just general all-round play and kind of letting, because we get it forward and then they lose and we're defending again. But Calvert-Lewin would hold that up to allow for Grealish and Dye and Jude to pick it up in that space that they want to pick it up in. I think he'd just be better at that. But I'd kind of work out a way where you could just play the 4 attacking midfielders without an actual out and out number 9. I just let them do that and kind of work it between them, because it's not as if you're losing a number 9 as if Beto can hold it up now. You say no, but we need a big man up front because he's not doing that job anyway. I would just try and play our attacking 4 and just let them kind of rotate between each other. I think that is more of a threat than what kind of having Barry or Beto number 9 is. But I think we probably went on too long, Sean. You're probably looking a bit like, let's move on. So
no, it's fine. I'm very, very aware of. We've been on here for over an hour and we haven't even gone to the game yet, which is mad. That wasn't anything
Max,
you said.
that silver goal.
yeah. What's this?